What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got a 6-game WNBA slate to break down today, and this is the kind of board where the numbers actually tell a pretty clear story once you dig into the matchups. There are a couple of sides I like, a couple totals that stand out, and a few player props that feel very live if the game script goes the right way. So let's not waste time, let's get straight into the first game. First up, Washington taking on Connecticut. This is one of those games where the market has moved a bit, and I can understand why. Washington is the more talented long-term team in some areas, but they're still young, inconsistent, and very much a team that can disappear offensively for long stretches. Connecticut, on the other hand, has not been great this season, but they've looked better recently and they're starting to play with a little more confidence. That said, I'm not in a hurry to lay points with Connecticut either. This is one of those spots where I can see reasons to lean either way, but not enough to feel great about backing the side. So for me, my best pick is the under. Both teams want to score inside, both teams have been effective around the paint lately, and that usually leads to a slower style of game where the clock keeps moving. Add in the pace numbers, and this has the feel of a grinded-out matchup rather than a fast, explosive one. Washington has also been struggling offensively in general, and if Connecticut is able to drag this into a slower tempo, that should only make things tougher on the Mystics. On top of that, the Sun are at home and they're in a better rest spot, which helps the under even more. For a player prop, I like Layla Lakin over 11.5 points. Washington has been vulnerable on the perimeter, and that gives Lakin a path to get clean looks from outside and beat this number. Now to New York and Chicago. This is where things get a little more straightforward for me. The Liberty have been rolling, and when a team is playing this well, you don't always need to overthink it. They're winning by margin, they're covering spreads, and they're doing it in a way that looks sustainable. Chicago has actually been decent as a big underdog at times, but this is a completely different level of challenge. New York is executing at a very high level on both ends, and the way they're moving the ball and putting pressure on teams is making them tough to fade right now. So my best pick here is Liberty money line, and I don't mind them at the number. The total also looks playable to the over. New York is forcing a faster game because they're usually ahead, and Chicago is a team that will try to run if they need to keep up. That creates more possessions, more shot volume, and more scoring chances. For the player prop, I like Sabrina Ionescu over 3.5 rebounds. She's been active on the glass, and this matchup sets up well for long rebounds because Chicago gives up a lot of boards, especially from the guard position. If the pace is up and the shots are flying, she should be able to get there again. Next up, Dallas against Golden State. This is one of the better games on the slate from a betting perspective because you have a Dallas team coming in after a huge emotional win, but the schedule spot is rough. That's the kind of thing I always pay attention to. A big win can make a team look great for one night, but it doesn't always carry over when fatigue starts to kick in. Dallas has been playing a ton of games in a short window, and now they're walking into a very tough road environment. Golden State has been playing really balanced basketball lately, and they've been strong on both ends of the floor over their last handful of games. That's why my best pick is Golden State to win here. The Valkyries have the home court edge, they're in better rhythm, and Dallas being worn down makes this a very live spot for the home team. As far as the total, I actually lean over. Dallas can score, Golden State can get out in transition, and even though the Valkyries are often a team I'd think about for unders at home, this game has a little more offensive upside because of the matchup and the scheduling angle. For the player prop, I like Eric Egbowale over 3.5 rebounds. She's physical, she plays heavy minutes, and she's been cleaning up on the glass lately. In a game where there should be plenty of missed shots and long rebounds, that looks like a strong prop. Now let's get to Minnesota and Los Angeles. This is one of my favorite sides on the board. Minnesota is just a better team, plain and simple. They're more complete, they're more disciplined, and they're stronger on both ends of the floor. Los Angeles has not looked good defensively, and that is a major problem when you're facing one of the top teams in the league. The schedule also isn't helping the Sparks. They're coming home after a road trip, and that's a spot where teams often come out flat. If you're already struggling defensively, the last thing you want is to face a team like Minnesota that can punish you in multiple ways. So my best pick is Minnesota to cover. The total is a little trickier. Minnesota's defense is excellent, but they can score enough to keep the game moving, and LA's defense is bad enough to make you nervous about an under. So I'd call the total a slight lean under, but the side is the stronger play. For the player prop, I like Courtney Williams over 19.5 points and assists. She's the engine of that offense, and this matchup sets up beautifully for her. The Sparks have been poor defending guards and even worse at limiting production in the assist department, so I expect her to be very involved. Now to Seattle and Portland. This is a tough spot for Seattle. They've been in a losing stretch, and while they do compete hard, there's only so much you can keep asking from a young roster before the results start to speak for themselves. Portland hasn't been perfect either, but they've generally taken care of business against the weaker teams on their schedule. That's why my best pick is Portland moneyline here. The total is also interesting. Seattle has played with effort all year, their defense has been respectable, and Portland should be motivated to bounce back. That combination gives me a lean to the under. For the player prop, I like Natisha Heedman over 4.5 assists. She's been getting a bigger role, she's been distributing well, and Portland is a team that can allow some guard production if the ball moves the right way. That's a nice plus money angle if you're looking for value. Last game on the board, Las Vegas against Phoenix. This is the bounce back spot of the night, and I'm not trying to get in front of it. Las Vegas coming off an ugly loss, especially after what happened earlier in the season in this matchup, makes this a very dangerous spot for Phoenix. Good teams don't like embarrassment, and elite teams usually respond with force when they feel they've been disrespected. That's why my best pick is Las Vegas moneyline here, and I like them with confidence. I also lean over. The Aces can push tempo, they can score quickly, and if they come out aggressive early, this game has the potential to open up fast. Phoenix has enough offensive talent to contribute too, even if they haven't been consistent enough for anyone to trust them blindly. For the player angle, I'd look at Aya Wilson in whatever form you can get her. Points, rebounds, PRA, whatever the best number is. If Vegas is going to make the statement I think they're capable of making, she's going to be right in the middle of it. That's the way I'm looking at the slate today. A few strong home spots, a couple of totals that make a lot of sense, and some props that line up well with the expected game scripts. So that's where I'm landing today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It helps the channel a lot, and it lets me keep bringing you these daily picks and breakdowns. And I'll catch you in the next one.